Do you actually need a college degree in order to be rich? I was recently having this conversation with a couple of friends, which is what pretty much sparked me creating this video to begin with, because 50% of us were thinking, okay, should we go to school if we, let's say, could go back in time if we wanted to actually be rich? And then the other half of us thought to ourselves, no, I don't think you need to actually go to school in order for you to be rich. Now, in this video, I'm going to try my best to be as non-subjective as possible and pretty much just present to you just some different options and really just some different scenarios of what you need to look at if maybe you are thinking of going to school, if you are currently in school, or if you are thinking of going back to school, or if you never went to school and you're wondering if you made a mistake altogether. Now, before really diving into some numbers here, let's first break down what rich is. Rich to us could be different things. Rich to me could be possibly making $100,000 every week. Rich to someone else may be making $100,000 in 1 year. Rich to maybe the person across the street from you, or maybe the person that's walking next to you, depending on where you're listening to or how you're listening to this, could be someone that if they could just pay their bills on time and have a little extra money left over to go on a cruise or on a dream vacation to maybe Europe, or maybe just have a nice week off where they don't have to worry about touching their bills and everything is covered for, that could be a person that to them, they're rich. So in order for us to define what rich is, you first have to define it between yourself. What is rich to me? Once you have that number in your head, you can then determine what rich is to you, and is college something worth pursuing. But then there's another definition to being rich, and that's, let's say I want to be rich with my family time, or I want to be rich when it comes to me having a bit more time on my hands. You see, these are all different things that you want to consider as you watch this video. And the reason why I wanted to make it this way is because so many of us put a restraint on, okay, well, if you make $1 million, then you're rich, or if you have all of this freedom, then technically you're rich, right? Because the rich don't work for money. We've all heard that saying before, right? Now, there is some truth to that, but at the end of the day, my goal isn't the same as your goal, and your goal isn't the same as possibly someone that you've been having the same conversation with, hence possibly your parents that have been wanting for you to go to school and get a college education. Now, I do want to make something very clear here. I'm in no way endorsing that someone should or shouldn't go to school, because again, I think that's a personal choice, especially for those of us that possibly think, well, what about doctors? What about lawyers? They need to go to school. Exactly. But not everyone is going to be a doctor, and not everyone is going to be a lawyer. Now, people on the opposite side of the spectrum, where they say, well, if you go to school, you're pretty much putting yourself into a system and you're going to be locked in for 40 years and you're going to be a slave. Let's go ahead and look at the other side of that, because studies show us that right around 90 to 95% of people that start small businesses within the first year end up going back to work anyways, which means not everyone is going to be the next Steve Jobs, and not everyone is going to be the next Elon Musk. So we also have to stay kind of in the middle when it comes to comparing these two spectrums. So why do people go to school anyways? What's the big fuss of going to school? Well, for some, it's security. For others, it's notoriety, to say I went to the school. And for others, it's flat out, I need security, and I don't see myself building a business. I don't see myself coming up with a product that's going to revolutionize the world. And quite frankly, I actually prefer this line of work that I'm getting into. And so again, it all boils down to what you're looking to accomplish with your goals. And so once you figure out why you're going to school, or why you want to go back to school, you then have to realize the type of person that you actually are. Are you a risk taker? Are you someone that's going to go out there and knock on 1,000 doors? Are you someone that's going to go out there and start networking with a ton of people, trying to pitch them your idea? Are you someone that's going to go out there without a college education, assuming that you bypass going to college altogether and actually educate yourself in the industry that you're going in? Because sometimes it's not about the college education. Sometimes it's about the specific industry that you're getting into. You see, if you're someone that right now is studying, and no offense to you if you study this, but if you're studying liberal arts, somebody who studied liberal arts is going to have a completely different taste in their mouth of what they think about school versus someone who maybe studied health care management, or possibly studied some type of CPA, or got some type of certification, or even a college degree rather, in some type of financial major. Because once you figure out whether you're a risk taker or whether you are more of a planner, or maybe you are more of somebody who seeks security, and maybe you'll find that in the 9 to 5, or maybe you're a team player and you don't want to be number one. A lot of people think that being number one is all it's cut out to be, and it's not. There's no shame in being the top 5 or the top 5th person in a company. There's no shame in being maybe someone who plays on the back end in the business. That doesn't necessarily have to deal with the territorial parts of running a business, or being the face of an industry, or the face of a product, or the face of a business where everything comes down to you. The last decision, who you're gonna hire, who you're gonna fire, maybe what product needs to get introduced into your business. Now, in my opinion, it all boils back down to financial literacy. Depending on how you manage your finances is going to determine how far those funds actually spread out. You see, you could be someone who has a college degree. You could have majored in 5 different things, and you could be making $250,000 a year. But if you don't manage that money accordingly, you're going to live in the same pressure as someone who barely makes it with minimum wage, but actually knows how to manage their funds. Now, given, you're probably thinking, but wait a minute, Irv, someone who makes $250,000 has more opportunity than someone who only makes minimum wage. They do, if they actually treat money the way that it's supposed to be treated, and that's as a tool and a vehicle, not as the master. Because when money becomes your master, it actually starts telling you how it wants to be spent, rather than you giving money an assignment and letting them know, this is how we're going to invest it. This is where we're going to put it in, whether that's maxing out your 401k, whether that's putting it into a Roth IRA, whether that's buying index funds, whether that's buying ETFs, whether that's maybe investing in someone else's idea. Because a lot of people think that in order to become rich, you have to be the one coming up with ideas, or you have to be the one starting the business. But that couldn't be further from the truth either, because there could be someone out there that, again, has the time, has the energy, has the creativity. You just want to stick to, let's say, the career that you chose, again, with that college degree, but you have some extra capital that you possibly want to invest into someone else's life. In return, you're going to get some type of return on that investment or on that money, especially if you're coming in as an angel investor. Now, obviously, things like that get a bit more sophisticated, and this isn't a video about how to invest, where to start investing. But I did want to make this video regarding, do you need to go to college in order to be rich? And if you haven't picked up on the answer just yet, then obviously you haven't done enough thinking just yet on what rich really means to you. So if you found value in this content, consider hitting the subscribe button down below. Join the official community. Don't forget that anytime we're not posting on here, we're posting over on the Inside with Irv show. So if you like what we have going on over here, you'll love what we have going on over there. Once again, I appreciate you guys checking us out. Until next time, everyone, I will see you in the next video.